Hey all, welcome back. We're at TO's working on the old shop truck, Rustalicious, and I wanted to update you on how the inner fenders turned out. Inside the engine bay here, wanted to have those in so that they would protect the engine bay from road grime and water and dust. And so you can see kind of the finished product in place, tucked in here nice and tight, clearing the steering, clearing the headers, and just kind of going originally where they were relative to the cab and the outer fenders. So probably a little hard to see down in there to the bottom, but I'll come up underneath and let you look from the underside. Notice I had to clear, basically notch these out for the alternator and also the air conditioning unit here. So I'm happy with how that turned out. Those are painted with just like a truck bed coating type paint, and then you can see how the headers fit in there. I had to look around a bit to try and get some that would fit. I ended up with a shorty header from JBA, and they're an 1822S is their model number, JBA 1822S. But they kind of run high till they get to the back of the motor and then drop down, so that they clear that frame, which kind of tucks inboard as it comes forward. So, and then I've run the collectors from there straight back, like kind of like a 45. So that's how it looks on the other side. Kind of hard to see down in there. But yeah, I'll lift up the truck and you can look underneath as well. But yeah, everything fits just so. And this bolt here on the right is common to a stanchions coming up on the outside of the frame on the front. Same over here. And the other bolt there is for a cross brace. It's just additional support, keeping the fenders together. And yeah. Alright, so from underneath you can see that inner fender, and there's that stanchion I was telling you about, bolted to the outside of the frame and then up through a support on the outer fender, but the inner fender's pinched between it. You can see the relief cuts that I made in there for the air conditioning, and the alternator on the other side. But see how they fit. Just had to clear over the A-arms there. I just did that little by little, make sure I didn't cut off too much. Bolt along the top there. Here's the bottom side. Yeah. And then looking at the driver's side, same thing there. Going over the A-arm and back. Bolting to the inner, or part of the cab actually. So yeah, while I'm under here I can show you the drive shaft I just had made to match the TKO 500, and then matching the 10 bolt axle in the rear. So yeah, nothing special, just had to take a measurement from the front yoke to the rear yoke. And then from underneath, see the tubs. Kind of hard to see, but nothing special there. There's some bolts holding them on. Put a little piece of rubber between that and the frame when it's riding. Just another look. I left those unpainted, but I can always take them off and paint maybe the underside. And the outer side I'll kind of treat it like the body, where probably add a clear some kind of wax or protection to hold it up from further rust. But yeah, there's a look at the headers from underneath. See how they tuck tight to the motor, stay high until the back, and then they drop so I can avoid that frame. But I have relieved the frame a little bit because they did not fully clear. So you see I welded in a plate before I painted it. Those are 1 3/4 primary tubes, a 2.5 inch collector that's a ball and socket type, and it's going back to the cutouts, and the other cutout going around the fuel tank and out the back. Then I'll show you how I end up doing the rear tubs, because the wheels and tires kind of follow along the frame here, and so they stick inside the bed area, so you had to tub it a little bit. Not as much as I ended up tubbing it, because those are like 10 inches wide. I ended up using a trailer fender for this, and I did that weld on the inside to close it off. But yeah, you can buy those fairly cheap, and then I liked how they looked. I tried another fender set that was narrower that actually would fit where they needed to go. It would cover the right amount of space here, but I liked the look of the wider tub, so I kept it. And it rests there on the frame, and it bolts on the inside of the bed, but that's covered by the outer fender, and one of those bolts is common to the outer fender on the very top, and then the others are just kind of inside there, the outer fender. So yeah, that's how it looks. Pretty happy with how that turned out, and now I can finish off the bed, having all that stuff in place. See where I put my battery, fuel tank, filler right out the side there. Yeah.